Did the first human who carried fire home look like a genius, or just someone sprinting through grass with a burning branch while everyone else screamed and protected their eyebrows? We will never know that person's name, and there may never have been one dramatic first moment when humanity suddenly understood flames and became the world's strangest barbecue species overnight. Fire probably entered human life slowly, through accidents, experiments, lucky discoveries, painful mistakes, and many smoky evenings when nobody understood why the wood refused to cooperate properly with them anymore. Long before humans controlled fire, nature was already producing it without instructions, safety warnings, or helpful demonstrations from a patient prehistoric employee wearing an official lightning department uniform for everyone. Lightning struck dry grass, volcanoes released heat, trees burned, and wildfires crossed forests and savannas while early human ancestors watched from whatever distance still felt reasonably safe to nervous mammals. The intelligent response was obvious: run away. Fire was loud, hot, bright, unpredictable, and extremely unfriendly to skin, shelters, food supplies, body hair, and personal dignity during sudden windy afternoons. But after flames passed, the landscape changed. Burned grass exposed open ground. Hidden animals became visible. Roasted plants and carcasses offered smells that curious noses probably noticed immediately with interest. Someone eventually approached instead of fleeing. Perhaps that decision was brave, foolish, hungry, or all three, which describes a surprising amount of human innovation across the following million years anyway. Early humans may have collected glowing branches after lightning fires, carried smoldering wood towards shelter, and discovered that flames could be moved, fed, protected, and shared among companions over time. That sounds simple until archaeology enters the story, because ancient fire never leaves a polite note saying who made it, why it burned, or whether anyone controlled it at all. Researchers instead study ash, charcoal, burned bones, heated stones, reddish soil, microscopic plant remains, and altered minerals, then ask whether humans or ordinary natural processes created them in that place. Lightning can burn trees, wildfires can sweep through camps, water moves ash, animals disturb layers, wind carries charcoal. Time turns tidy hearths into frustrating puzzles beneath ordinary dirt for archaeologists. This is why the earliest evidence remains debated. A burned bone beside a stone tool looks exciting, until nature quietly raises its hand and claims responsibility for both without hesitation. Some African sites contain burned materials older than 1 million years, possibly around 1.5 million, but proving repeated, controlled human fire there remains difficult and controversial today. The stronger story begins inside Wonderwork Cave in South Africa, where researchers examined sediments located deep beyond the entrance, protected from the easiest explanation of a passing wildfire outside nearby. Within those ancient layers, they found ash from burned plants and fragments of burned bone dating to roughly 1 million years ago, along with signs of controlled heating inside caves. A grass fire normally races across open land. It does not casually stroll far into a cave, arrange fuel near humans, and leave microscopic remains where people repeatedly lived for generations. Something burned inside Wonderwork Cave. Early humans may have carried flaming branches or protected embers, then fed them with grass, wood, or bone while the surrounding darkness retreated from view. That moment represents an important boundary. Fire was no longer only a frightening event somewhere outside. Humans had brought part of nature's danger into a space they occupied and controlled. However, using fire was not the same as creating fire. Finding a burning branch resembles finding a lit candle. Useful while it survives, useless after every flame disappears completely overnight. For early groups, losing fire may have meant waiting for another lightning strike, traveling toward visible smoke, or borrowing embers from neighbors who suddenly possessed valuable bargaining power over everyone. So fire demanded constant attention. Someone gathered dry fuel. Someone protected coals from wind and rain. Someone stayed awake while everyone else slept comfortably and trusted that person with everything. Imagine receiving the night shift beside humanity's only flame. One mistake, one nap, or one bundle of wet wood could produce several extremely disappointed prehistoric faces at sunrise without mercy. This makes fire less like a simple tool and more like a living responsibility. It needed fuel, shelter, memory, cooperation, and one reliable person resisting the temptation to nap again. At Gesher Beno Yaakov, in what is now Israel, archaeologists found burned seeds, wood, and flint dating to about 790,000 years ago, concentrated in particular areas nearby. Those clusters matter because random fires usually scatter evidence broadly. Repeated concentrations suggest humans returned to familiar hearth locations and used fire as an ordinary part of daily life there. They may have cooked fish, softened plants, warmed bodies, dried materials, shaped tools, discouraged predators, or simply sat together while one person confidently added the wrong branch and made smoke. By then, fire looked less like a lucky accident and more like dependable infrastructure, yet the central mystery remained. Could humans ignite flames, or only preserve borrowed ones from nature? For years, direct evidence of ancient fire-making remained surprisingly young. Then researchers studying Barnum, a site in eastern England, reported a combination of clues that changed the conversation quite dramatically. On a buried surface dating to roughly 400,000 years ago, they found intensely heated sediment, fire-damaged flint tools, and fragments of iron pyrite near human activity at Barnum. Strike pyrite against flint, and sparks can fall into dry tinder. Pyrite was uncommon in the local geology, suggesting someone deliberately carried this useful mineral toward the site for fire-making purposes. That combination is powerful. Natural fire can heat soil and damage stone, but wildfire does not collect rare spark-producing minerals, transport them, and place them beside human tools for later. The evidence suggests that early humans at Barnum were not merely maintaining a flame they had found. They probably understood how particular materials could produce sparks on demand when needed. Even more surprising, these fire makers were probably not Homo sapiens. Our species had not yet appeared in Britain, so the skilled residents may have been early Neanderthal relatives living there. Another branch of the human family may therefore have mastered deliberate ignition long before modern humans reached that region, complicating any simple story about our unique intelligence or superiority today. Fire changed far more than temperature. Cooking softened tough foods, reduced chewing effort, killed some pathogens, and released energy from meat and plants that bodies could access more easily afterward. Scientists still debate when regular cooking began and exactly how strongly it shaped evolution, but over long periods, cooked food may have supported major changes in bodies and behavior eventually. Digesting raw food can be expensive. Easier calories may have allowed more energy for movement, reproduction, social life, and costly organs, including the remarkably demanding human brain over evolutionary time. Fire also transformed darkness. Many predators gain advantages at night, but a controlled flame created a bright zone where humans could see faces, movements, tools, food, and danger more clearly. Inside that circle, people repaired equipment, prepared meals, watched children, treated injuries, and guarded companions. Outside waited cold, uncertainty, hidden animals, and every suspicious rustle in grass after dark nearby. Fire created extra time. Without it, sunset sharply limited useful activity. With it, the social day continued, and humans could gather after eating instead of immediately surrendering to darkness outside. Around the hearth, people could gesture, teach, remember, plan, imitate, joke, argue, comfort, and probably complain about whoever returned with damp wood after promising excellent fuel from the nearby forest. This may be the deepest transformation. Fire did not only provide heat, it created a shared place where attention converged, routines formed, knowledge moved, and relationships deepened across many generations. A hearth demanded cooperation. The flame could not gather its own fuel, protect itself from rain, prepare food, watch children, and warn everyone when predators approached the camp after sunset. One person's skill benefited everyone. One person's laziness endangered everyone. Fire turned survival into an immediate group project with glowing feedback, strict deadlines, and absolutely no automatic backup system available. Yet fire never became harmless. It burned skin, damaged shelters, spoiled stored materials, revealed camps through smoke, and sometimes escaped into dry vegetation faster than frightened humans could react safely. Controlling fire did not remove danger. It meant learning to live beside a force powerful enough to cook dinner, protect children, destroy shelter, and singe eyebrows within minutes without apology. Modern homes now contain electric lights, ovens, heaters, alarms, and reliable fuel. Still, people gather around fireplaces, light candles during ceremonies, and stare silently into campfires for surprisingly long periods. Perhaps part of us still recognizes that ancient glow as warmth. Food, safety, and companionship. So who changed history more? The first spark maker or the trusted keeper who stayed awake?